Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. It's that time again. I can't believe how fast 2 weeks goes by sometimes, especially if you try to put other videos up in between your normal stitching videos. I did put up one, in case you didn't see it. It was a cooking one. I did a cake one a few months back, and this time I did it's a beef empanada. They're very good. Anything in a pie crust, very good. It's a really easy recipe, so if you want to give it a try, head on over to that video at some point and try it out. I did get a very nice comment from Amy Loves Toads saying, thank you for the recipe. It was, seems like a really easy one, and for those of you who aren't, cooking is not high on your list of things you like to do or you're good at, this should be pretty easy. Really about the only thing that you could probably mess up is to let it cook in the oven too long and then it starts to burn on the edges. But if you check it frequently enough, then you won't have that problem. So anyway, let's get on with some other stuff. It is the 14th of September, I believe. Not 100% sure on that, just like all of you. It's the days just kind of run together and you just don't even know. And here in the Pacific Northwest, our days have really been messed up. If you have been tracking Audrey on Stitchy Witch 42, you've seen her updates. Beth Twist also has been putting updates for her. Beth was evacuated from their area, even though I don't know if the fire was really, really close to be a super imminent threat. The fire moved so fast that even the firefighters were amazed with the speed that it would move at times. So she got evacuated. Audrey did not get evacuated. They were at a level 2, which means be ready to go at a moment's notice. So, yeah, so she was much closer to the fire. The fire was very close to her. So it's just been a very stressful time right now. Some of those have dropped. So Beth has got to go back to her house. Audrey's their area has gone down to a level 1, which still means be prepared in case, who knows, the winds change, something happens. But the levels have gone down, so that has helped. But our air quality is horrendous. So apparently they measure, parts per million for whatever's in the air. It only measures up to like 500 for some reason. I don't know why they don't measure really above that. And our air quality on quite a few days, at least where I live, has been right about that level or just below 500. So it's in the hazardous level. So we don't go outside that much. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to get outside. The one nice thing about this cloud cover is it kept the temperatures down, so it wasn't so hot. So that's been a blessing. My plants, I've kind of ignored them because I haven't really wanted to go outside. And so they haven't been getting their drinks quite as much. But because the temperature has kept down a little bit, I think that has helped them from just, completely wilting over and wanting to die. Today, Audrey had put on a post on Instagram showing actually, little bits of clouds with blue peeking through. Blue sky. We haven't seen blue sky in over a week. And it's not because of rain. So that she's had that. We don't have that here. I'm about a half an hour from her. It's crow flies. And ours is still the haziness, the cloud cover. It's not as thick. It's not like it's clear down to the ground level where it's fog and smoke combined, which we did have one day on Sunday. It was so bad that there was zero visibility. We could barely see the neighbor's house across the street. I think today it did it was supposed to clear up. I was watching the news this morning, and tomorrow it's actually going to get, more of the smoky haziness again. It's going to kind of come back over us a little bit more, and then it might start clearing off again after that. We were hoping to get rain either last night or today. Didn't really. I think some areas like Clackamas might have gotten a little bit of sprinkling and a very light rain, but for the most part, we didn't get anything. I think our next chance for rain is Thursday night and Friday. So we'll see if that's going to happen, because they had it, our chance of getting rain for today was pretty high, and it has kind of evaporated. So who knows if it will actually rain Thursday, Friday. Hopefully it will, because not only will that help with the fires, but it will also pull the particles, the smoke particles out of the air, which will help clear that up. I know Audrey said she's been having headaches, and I've had headaches for a week because of this smoke. It's also it just gives you this heavy feeling when you're breathing. So I know last Friday, our air quality's been bad for a week, but last Friday, at least, I think there's been a couple of days, our air quality was the worst in the entire world. Worse than Beijing and Mexico City and all the other areas that have really bad pollution. That's how bad it's been around here. So hopefully the firefighters will be able to get control of it better. They've had zero containment for so long because the smoke is so thick. They don't know where the fire is all the time. It's the brush, the terrain has been very hard. They can't get in there and fight it, is what they've been saying. So hopefully things will turn around here real quick, and we will get all that'll go and we'll get it under control. Even the other fire, that's the main fire around Audrey and Beth. There's a couple of really big ones there. I had mentioned I think it was an Instagram stories, that we had a fire that was just north of Newburgh. So if I were to drive up to about where that fire was, it would take me about 20 minutes. So that's about how far away. It wasn't a huge fire, but they did have to evacuate some people for it. I don't know if that one's contained yet. It's really hard to get complete up-to-date information because they're busy working, plus they can't always tell where the fire is all the time, as I mentioned, because of the smoke and such. There's a fire out by Lincoln City. I don't know how far east it has traveled. It seems to have traveled a decent amount. I know that you couldn't get any closer than 5 miles to Lincoln City on the road that goes in there. So from 5 miles in, it was blocked off. You couldn't drive in. There's, between that point and the beach, there's a little teeny tiny community called Otis, and I know at least some houses have burned there, and I don't know if the whole community has burned or not. So we've kind of got fires all around us, but I know that the firefighters are taking care of it, and I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed. It's just kind of, I don't want to have headaches anymore, and I don't want to have feeling like this when I breathe, and I'd like to be able to get back outside. So that's kind of the only thing. I'm not worried about it. I know that it's under control, and I'm far enough away that it's not going to be a problem for me. I am still thinking and praying about those that are a little bit more in direct line of fires, or that have lost everything. I know that there are some. There's at least one Flosstuber who did lose everything. So keep thinking about them, if you would. All right, let's get into some stuff. I'm going to talk about some kind of, I'm going to break my acquisitions or Happy Mail up into 2 parts. So the first one is more, I'm going to do more of the Happy Mail first, and then I'll talk about some things that I got later. I had sent out my anniversary gifts. So anybody who had won an anniversary gift, I sent one out. And the gal who got the project bag and the grime guard sent a lovely card, a lovely thank you card. And along with that, she sent me a pattern. Quilting bee. It is, I have eyed this for a long time, ever since it came out. And it's like, yeah, I want it, but there's so many other things I want to get to. And so I just never really, buckled down and just bought it. So I'm very grateful for this. So thank you, Linda, for sending me this. I put in an Instagram post of Happy Mail, and part of it was that, and I got some zippers because I'm doing project bags and stuff. So I won't show you the zippers. We all know what zippers look like. But something else that I got, a dear friend of ours from our church, she gets the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and she had for some reason gotten 2 in the same month. And so she gave me one. So it's this one. It is, let me see, I didn't even see, it's August of this year. It's very cute. There's a couple things that I want to show you that I think probably will stitch. Very cute. One of them is this. So our heat guide. So it's 72, no, I'm reading it backwards. 75, we garden. At 80, go for a bike ride. 85, we grill. 90, swimming. At 95, head for the mountains. It's just true. It's great. Our little guide. The other one that I just love, and I will definitely stitch, is the sheep. The little patriotic sheep. Very cute. So I will stitch that up, and I may even do something similar. I'll show you something. I don't know. I haven't figured out the size of this and see if it'll work on one of my acquisitions that I'm going to show you in a little bit. So very cute. Very, very cute. All right. So those were my happy mails or happy gifts. Let's get into some stitching things. So I have the one thing that I was working on in the last video, which was our autumn in the country. And I think I had gotten pretty much all of the center part done, and I only had like a couple more days to work on it. So I was starting to work on the border. And man, that border is so cute. Oh my gosh. So here it is. Those acorns and leaves. You got the oak leaves and the maple leaves. Oh my goodness. Can you just even? Very, very cute. Loving it. So that is done, and I'm going to put it away now. The next thing that I picked up, I'm trying to remember my order here, because I actually got more done this time than, than I think I normally do, because they were going quick. So I picked up the antique cups and spoons, and I mean, it's not huge, but it's big enough. And I had gotten probably a quarter of it done in January, something like that. So I already had a good chunk of this done. I finished it. And not only did I finish stitching it, but I FFO'd it. So here it is. Now I have filled it with crushed walnuts, so it's a little floppy because I'm just going to lay it on a table or something. So I'll kind of hold it like this. So there we go, all stitched. And then I did add the lace, kind of like what they had done. Mine's not antique lace like they say that theirs is, but that's okay. You need a thin one if you don't want the pillow to look really big. This is pretty thin. I mean, you can see it's only the width of my fingernail basically. So you don't need something very big. But all done. And so yes, it is kind of squishing. So I'll just lay it flat on a table or a shelf or something. I don't even really think I can prop it up too much because then it starts doing this and looking funny. So it's going to have to lay flat on something. But I want different things. It seems like what I do is put them in frames all the time and put them on top of the, on the wall or sitting on something so that you can look at them that way. But I wanted this. And I know from past experience, because I've tried to do this before and I didn't have a good allowance around, that you need to have a pretty good allowance from wherever your stitching stops and where your seam is going to be. Okay, because the way it sits, it's going to want to have a big roundedness to it. And if you don't want to see all of it, so if it's sitting like this and it starts hidden down and you don't see it all, then you don't have to have a big seam allowance. But if you want to be able to see the whole stitched project, you got to have enough. I mean, I have almost an inch from here just to where the seam would be. I had a big enough piece of this that I just wrapped it all the way around. So I did not use another piece of fabric on the other side. So I do have seam here, and I've got the seam on the back and this side, but not on these sides because it just wrapped around. So it's all done. It's all done. I know I didn't mention this. That's a Shakespeare's Peddler. And I know there's 2 other complementary patterns that go along with this, but I don't know. I don't have them, and I don't know if I'm going to try and really find them and give them. So that's all done. All right, the next one, I start working on this. So, oh, that's upside down. Don't we all do that sometimes? Antique Rooster Sampler, JBW Designs. The person who actually designed this was Judy Whitman. So that just shows, it shows most of it, but not all of it. So I'm going to show you a little small picture of what the whole thing would look like. So it's a little bit bigger than what it shows on the front. Show you what I have gotten done so far. I don't really have anything big enough to stick behind it. So you're just going to have to kind of see me through the back of it. So I've gotten quite a bit done. When I started this in January, I had this much done. And as I was looking at this and I was looking at the pattern, I started questioning things and thinking, something's not right. Something's not right. And I'm looking at this and I'm looking at how big this is. And I'm thinking, that is not going to fit. Or if it barely fits, it's going to go right to the edge and I'm going to have no seam allowance. I don't know how I did this. I mean, we all do it. We all think we have gotten the right size material, and we don't. So I had to start over clearly to get it onto the right size. This over here, I mean, I still have the tail feathers and I've got to fill this little rooster in, and there's a little bit of a squiggly motif over on this side, but that's as far as this will go. On this side, there's a bigger motif. I have got a froggy throat. I don't know what my problem is. So this little wider floral motif still needs to go on this side, and I have enough room. It's folded over, so I'll have enough room. It's just my frame isn't big enough to see the whole thing at once. So the little bit, just so you know, because I have looked and looked and looked, and I cannot find anything on the pattern that tells me this, but the little bit that I did right here and this has taken 2 skeins of floss. I am using 2 threads over 2 because I like it filled in a little bit more. It's on 32 count. So if you really wanted to make it a little bit, not as filled in for each stitch, then you could go with one thread, but I'm doing 2. So yeah, I've done 2 and I have run out again. I'm going to need at least 1 more, but I'm getting 2 more. I'm getting 2 more skeins of this floss, and that way I will definitely have enough. But yeah, it's sucking up the thread like crazy. But yeah, I have, and if you're wondering, you don't have all, because it didn't tell me how many skeins I needed. That was my thing. It did not tell me how many skeins I needed. Very frustrating. So if you're wondering, well, if you didn't have enough floss, you're worried about color problems with your new skein. This is why I have jumped all over the place. Because if I just put this everything in one spot and went out from there and it was a different color, it would look weird. It would look wrong. But if I have a slightly different color here and here and here and here, it's going to look like it was made to be that way on purpose. It's going to, a little more modeled look than just one area and then a bunch of areas in different colors, slightly different colors. So that's where I'm at with this. Because I've only worked on this for 6 out of my 10 days, and because I have to order the threads, because I did get 1 skein from Acorns and Threads, but I've used it all already, and I'm going to have to order the other ones because they did not have any more. That was the only skein they had. I'm going to have to put this away and come back to finish my other 4 days another time, so I will jump to another project until I can get back to this, until I get my threads. Oh yeah. Alrighty. Now, let's talk about, I think we're going to cover the other acquisitions that I've gotten. So I've kind of gone around and gotten some things. It's been tough, especially for this last week, to get out because I don't want to get out in this smoke. But I've been busy other times too, so I haven't really been shopping a lot. Last Friday, I had a bunch of errands that I had to run, and so that was kind of part of, I just shoved in a bunch of things that I needed to go for. And while I was at those places getting things I actually needed, I found some things that I wasn't planning on getting, but I'm very glad I did. So I had to go to Michael's, and they had these. You can see it's pretty long, like a shutter. They were like 80% off. So these were like $6. $6. They may not be in 100% great shape, but they're in good enough shape, especially if you're going to stick stuff on top of it and decorate it up, then it doesn't have to be. So I was very happy to see this. And I was able to, they had 2 of them, so I got both of them. As usual, I don't know what I'm going to put on it, but I will find something. I also ran over to something called Craft Warehouse. I don't know how many places have Craft Warehouse. It's a craft store. It's very nice. It's got a lot of decorative stuff in it. So a lot of the fairy garden florals, jars, containers, wooden containers like boxes, and I mean it's just everything and stuff you don't normally see at maybe a Joann's or Michael's. So I was just wandering in there. I had a few extra minutes, so I was looking at some other areas, and I came across this. Now, I have stained this. It came in just that pale wood with the handles on them already. But yeah, I had to stain this myself. Now, what's fun about this is that these hinge out like this. So they got little hinges, and every other drawer goes an opposite direction. That way, that way, and that way, and that way. It is great. This is going to be great for, like, if I want to sit this next to my stitching spot and I need to put my needles, all my extra needles in a little drawer. I want to put scissors in here if I don't have something else that I'm storing my scissors in. A variety of things that can be stored in here. And the great thing about this is that it was like half off. So it was $10 for this thing. I love it. I love it. I can't wait to get it over to my stitchy spot because I just stained this a couple days ago. So I've kind of been letting it sit and absorb all of its stain before I stick some of my stuff in there. So I am very excited about this. Can't wait to get it over there and start using it. So I think about the only other thing that I was going to talk to you about is what we had planned on doing this coming weekend. We'll see if it's actually going to come to fruition. We were planning to go up to Crater Lake. It's about, depending on which route you go, somewhere between 4 and 5 hours from our house. With all the fires, I don't know what's going to happen. So there isn't a fire right at Crater Lake. Now, if you go out the north entrance, so there's a south entrance and a north entrance to get into the park. If you went out the north entrance and down, I don't know exactly how far away. It's not that far. Down a road, you would come to another area called Diamond Lake. It's a very beautiful big lake. It's a resort area. Beautiful. Well, apparently there's a fire there too. There's a fire in Medford, which is southwest of Crater Lake. There's a fire east of Eugene, which is northwest of Crater Lake. So even though there's not a fire right at Crater Lake, or even the place we're going to stay at, because we're not actually going to stay in the lodge right there at the lake, it's about 40 minutes west of there. I don't know if our route is blocked. I don't know if the roads that we need to get there are blocked. I don't know. We haven't really checked into it yet because we're kind of, you can check now and things may change in a day or two. So we haven't really, it's not like we're going to spaz out about it and get all worried that we can't go or this or that until it gets a little bit closer and then we find out for sure whether or not that's going to be a problem or not. It's beautiful at Crater Lake. I don't know how pretty it will be right now, especially if it rains Friday. I mean, we're planning to go on Friday, stay the night, possibly see it on Saturday again, and then come home. So it may be a little rainy. It may be smoky. And we may not even be able to get to go. So, nothing like living on the edge around here. But it'll be nice if we can get away. It'll be nice. Yeah. Kind of forget your troubles. The problem is you're not really forgetting your troubles completely because you're still around all of it. It's not like you're going out of state where you're not around any of these fires. So anyway, with that, I think that is all I have to update you with and let you know about things. I do have, and I really hope that I get these put up there this week. We'll see how things are going because we're dealing with, had to take our truck in to have it repaired and trying to coordinate my son going to work and having vehicles, my husband going to work and trying to get the truck and, you know those kinds of things, just the logistics of getting things and getting places. But I'm really hoping that I'm going to have some more things up in my Bags by Wendy Instagram where I sell things. So I have some project bags I need to put up there. One of them's a really cute Halloween one. I will probably have grime guards, more photo cards, maybe another scissor frog. I'm working on it right now, so we'll see if it gets finished and I put it up there this week. But yeah, hopefully those will be up there. If you follow me on Instagram and you follow that specific one, then it'll show a post and then you'll know if they're there. So head on over there if you want to see some new goodies. So with that, we will say goodbye, and hopefully you all are staying safe and keep your spirits up. You know, it will, this too will pass, along with all the virus stuff and everything else going on. This too will pass. So keep the faith, people. Keep the faith. Anyway, we will see you again in a couple of weeks. See you later. Bye.